Hello boys and girls, we are SCSI-9. My name is Maxim.
Anton.
And today we want to show you our studio environment in which our new album was composed and mixed. The album is called Squares and Circles and it will be out on Apparel Tonic in the first week of June.
This time when we created the album we used a lot of analog stuff like classical 909, 808, 303 and 101. And also we start use like everyone nowadays a lot of model synthesizers, step sequences, FXs, kind of I don't know, patching, whatever. So Professor Maxim really in of it.
So most of the tracks for the new album were created in this very studio, which is a very convenient place to work because we have some nice equipment here, and also we have a nice room which is professionally treated. Here you see the bullfrogs, our lovely studio monitors created by Basil Martion from Berlin. Which you cannot see is the Quested 1115 subwoofer, which is quite big, probably as big as Anton or me. Well, this is our synth rack where we have some instruments from the 90s. And we have also a Space Echo RE201, which we bought in Japan. It is still on 110 volts going. This is our mixing rack, which I will tell in detail a couple of minutes later. Our faithful Revox machine. Most of the tracks were mastered on tape here. And the Midas F24 hybrid console, which is also very convenient because we can connect all our stuff over there. You don't see it now. Here are the outlets for the inputs, and it's very easy to get some things going into Ableton, because if I have a synthesizer coming, say on channel 8, I just have to push one button and here in Ableton it will appear instantly. So it's a very convenient and fast way of creating some sketches to try things out. Yeah, what we did. So for this album it was the first time when we made the heavy use of modular synths, which probably everybody does now because it's so much fun. And it also has this analog vibe, which we like a lot. And we use it both for studio works right now, and we use it also for live shows. This case is a living piece of gear. I would switch around modules before every live show, trying out other configurations, and so we did when we were producing our album. Some of the models which got used on the album is the DPO. We took a very nice sine wave for a bass line out of it. Also we used the Jove filter, which resembles the filter from the Jupiter 6 Roland classical synthesizer. I have diverse modulators here, and I have some random sequences, which is a Turing machine, which we also used. One module which is missing right now, but which we used quite a lot on the album, it's called Kotelnikov. It's a Russian built piece from SSSR Labs. I can only recommend it. It's some wavetable druiding thing, and of course you need some service modules. You need some modulators like this Maths, which can be LFO, which can be an envelope, and which can sum together some modulating voltages and so on. You need your VCAs, and also we used the Clouds module, which is quite popular because now you don't need your computer to make some granular stuff. You can make it all with the Clouds module.
As you know, Ableton Live has really good synchronization with analog stuff, so we use a lot analog step sequencer or drum machine and model synthesizers. We recorded everything step by step or sometimes together in vertical mode, and after all redo, we just recorded online all arrangement, and when we was happy about each track, we export all stuff to the Logic, and Maxim made final mix in Logic, and after we send it for mastering.
So let me say something a little bit more in detail. What exactly is going on when you use this live arrangement technique in Ableton. I have opened a project of our first tune on the album, which is called No Rush, and as you can see, there is in the vertical view and also in the horizontal view, it's totally empty. We just have one master loop, so to say, of 22 tracks, and actually a second loop which is more for the ending. As we said, the idea was to get away from this building and horizontal arrangement on a traditional timeline style sequencing, where you build it up block by block, and we have done this for ages, but now it seems to be a little bit static to us, so we wanted to get the arrangement process into some live vibe. And this technique is especially suitable if you have some DJing skills, which many musicians and artists have. So basically all you have to do, you just press stop, then you select your master, and then you press record. Now you see that my master loop is playing, but a couple of the channels are muted, so I'm now imitating the situation which I may have had when the track is beginning, so basically almost no drums. And now Ableton is recording all of my actions. So let's say that after a couple of bars from now, my intro should be over, and then I will unmute some of my drums, let's say now. So the kick is going. Let it go for a couple of bars more. And now, clap. Yes, and now then you can add some other channels like this. So now
almost our full arrangement is going. What I'm doing now is simplified demonstration. Of course, for the track it was a little bit more elaborate, and we have to do some rehearsals before making the final take. But nevertheless, of course, you can, if you have a controller, all actions which you perform with your controller, be it volumes, mutes, solos, whatever, will also be recorded by the application, which is very cool. For example, I have an equalizer here. This could be a filter, and now I will filter the clap. And all these actions will also be recorded by Ableton, which is very, very cool. To be honest, I was dreaming of this technique since 1995 when I had Logic 2.5, and somewhere in Logic's manual there was written that you could record, how it's called in Logic's language, meta effects. And I was so naive to think that you can do just what I am doing, like playing with mutes and volumes, and this will be all recorded in real time. But it was not. And almost 20 years later, those genius guys who invented Ableton made it real. So let me finish my demonstration. And some faderite. Yeah, for example. Well, this stop was a little bit rude, but for our things this is just okay. And now the powerful thing about this technique is that if you now go to horizontal view in Ableton, here you can see all the events, all the actions which you have taken. Here, all those volume rights and mutes and unmutes and whatnot. And then I would select all the tracks which I have recorded, all of them, and assign them. This has been on external out, but now I assign them to master. And now when they are all selected, you go to File, Export Audio and Video, and here you choose all individual tracks. The render length is suggested for you from the application. Yes, and then you press export and you just show a place. I have done this before this recording. So I have a set of tracks which I have imported to Logic. Just want to say that we use both applications, Ableton Live and Logic. Ableton is ace if you work with samples, and it's very flexible and it's very fast to get some sketches going, to try things out. It's really unbeatable at that. But the mixing itself, at least to me, is still a bit more convenient in Logic. I love the built-in effects in Logic. The compressors are killer. But just to finish up this topic, you see that all which we created here, this is our kick drum. First there was no kick drum, then I unmuted it, and the same goes vice versa. In the end, you still have a lot of control over what you have done. So if you know that or you listen to it and there were some mistakes, you were not very precise in your mutes, for example, you can clean it up, make edits after your record like this, or I can shorten an instrument here. I can apply fades, for example. Here is it more, yeah, fade out. Here you can put some fading. Also you can, you still can edit your live arrangement, and this way you get the best from both worlds. You can do your arrangement live quite quick, and then you can fine-tune it when all the tracks are visible to you as audio, and you can listen over and over again and stuff like that. You get the point. So for us this technique was quite refreshing, and also it speeded up the work on the album tremendously.
Now I would like to say a couple of words how we do our mixing. So this is our mixing rack, and what we are doing is we take the signal from the console, and then it gets split up here into three discrete streams. One stream stays clean. Another one goes into the SPL tube vitalizer, which is very nice for softening up the bass, or to get the highs a bit more present, a bit more shiny. And the third one goes into this EMT 156 compressors. It's a vintage unit from 1972. I think sometimes they call it the Telefunken. It's a VCA compressor, a quite esoteric unit, but what it does very nicely is it beefs up the mid-range. So if I have the impression that my mid-range doesn't have too much of instruments, I can like beef them up using this one. And these three streams go into this analog summator. It's a Russian built unit from Mr. Long, and Mr. Long is roughly resembling some designs from Rupert Neve. This one is very nice because I have a balance port on each channel, and after the summing mixer, the signal goes into my tape machine, which is a lovely Revox PR99 Mark III. And from tape I read it back into the TC electronic finalizer, which I don't use too much for multi-band compression, but it's very convenient for gain staging, and sometimes I would compress only the low end. And the same unit is digitizing the stream, so it's a very nice AD converter, and from here it goes to my recording machine. So this was our brief studio tour, and we tried to show you the environment where we made our new album, which is called Squares and Circles, and which will be out on double vinyl on Apparel Tonic in June, and in September it will be out also digitally.
I would like to say that we try to make this album especially for warm-up DJs and for music lovers. We are still in the deep mood, and we really hope that everyone will like it.